Hello, this is Cotton Stoops, and today I'm going to be showcasing Valkyrie. This is going to be the first video of a long series that I'm going to be working on, which is called the How to Use or Check / Counter, or HTUC for short. While I'm not going to be the first Loomian Legacy YouTuber to do this, I want to focus your attention on underrated but really powerful Loomians, Valkyrie being one of them. And just so you know, before we start off the video, Falkyrie is one of the best range wall breakers, if not the best range wall breaker right now. And yeah, so this is how to use Falkyrie. So before we start off at Valkyrie sets, I'm gonna have to be showcasing Valkyrie's base stats, so you get an idea of what Valkyrie's purpose should be. So Valkyrie has a solid base HP stat of 84 and base range defense stat of 87. While this might not seem good, this is actually pretty good bulk for an offensive Loomian like Valkyrie, so that's pretty nice. And Valkyrie has a high range attack stat of 125. This range attack stat is in the top 8 most highest range attack stats in the game, and of course, Valkyrie being in the top 8, it will have a high natural range attack stat for you to abuse. And this is wall breaker level, so you don't have to worry about not hitting hard at all. So based off of these 3 stats, you might be thinking Valkyrie might be a defensive wall breaker like Colossotrops, or actually that's a bad example, but you know what I'm getting at, or defensive Servalin, or those kind of stuff. But we have to talk about Valkyrie's other stats. Valkyrie has a base energy stat of 88, a base melee attack stat of 80, a base melee defense of 71, and a base speed of 75. Valkyrie's energy base stat is 88, which makes it a pretty good base energy stat to have. The reason being, Valkyrie can reach one of the most coveted energy pools in the game, which is 250 energy in level 50 competitive battles. This makes it so Valkyrie can throw off powerful moves that cost 50 energy, like Gamma Pulse, and moves like Metal Blast and Rejuvenate without having to worry about energy. Valkyrie's base melee attack stat is 80. You are not going to be using this. Valkyrie has a base melee defense of 71. This might not seem good to you, but it does have its uses. And Valkyrie's base speed stat is 75. This is actually pretty useful for Valkyrie's speed tier for right now, because common Loomians near the base 70, like Obsidian being one of them, Ikazune, Tyrex, if people still run Nimble Tyrex. So you can outspeed most of those Loomians using Nimble. You are going to be outspeeding all of them, unless you find an Obsidian running very Nimble, but that's not a good set. So anyways, so Valkyrie's typing consists of light plus metal. It has 6 resistances, being mind, bug, typeless, ice, light, and air. This can be pretty good because Valkyrie does resist Icicle Trap, which can help its longevity. Air can be used for switching in on Stratosaurs and Zeppelins, although you do threaten both of them no matter what. Even if they do click their air moves, typeless moves can be used on resisting Servalin's hits, Morok raging tackles, such quick pounces, other Valkyrie raging howls to clip aren't very brawny, so you might live a hit from them. And Brawler, we only have one Brawler in OU, I think, and that's Mutagon, and Mutagon's pretty much like an Uber. Well, everyone considers it to be an Uber, so yeah. And Terraclaw Rough Up, I guess. Anyways, Valkyrie has one major resistance of Ancient, meaning that you can switch in on Ancient moves like Shaki's Elemental Burst, Cosmeor again with Cosmeor's Meteor Smash, and Meteor Crash. Nope, Meteor Crash is one of them. I don't know the other one. Obsidian Primal Slashes. Yeah. And Falkyrie also has an immunity of Spirit, so you can switch in on Spirit types like Revenine, if that's still prominent, Gwendolyn, all those stuff, but they do have dark coverage, so you do have to be wary about those two. Right, anyways, let's get on with the sets. So first set, we're going to be running Smart, Nimble, Very Frail. We're going to be running 64 HP, 36 energy, 200 range attack, and 200 speed. 200 speed paired with Nimble lets you outspeed Nimble Ikazune, which is problematic for Falkyrie because Ikazune can do some big damage on you with Thunder Strike. Although, fun fact, if Ikazune gets about at least 36% chip, you can 2-hit KO it. This 36 energy is for you to use 4 Metal Blasts and a Magnify, I think, and a Rejuvenate, although I might be wrong. I'm gonna check on that later, actually. I'm just gonna edit it in. 64 HP is just the leftovers from all the rest of the investments, so you don't really need to worry about that. Valkyrie's ability is Awakening. Awakening boosts your stab moves, while stab meaning same type attacking bonus moves, so that means moves like Gamma Pulse and Metal Blast will be boosted for 20% to 40%, so that's pretty nice. And for Valkyrie's moves that you want to be running on it, you want to be running Gamma Pulse, Metal Blast, like I just said, Raging Howl / Rejuvenate, and Magnify. The 3 moves, Gamma Pulse, Metal Blast, and Magnify, you do want to use them because you are able to break through walls like Sedimar's, Terraclaw, Iguana, Venolin, Meditoad, although you do not survive hits from Meditoad and Terraclaw, assuming Terraclaw gets an Eerie Stare off on you. You just have to be wary. Anyways, you can run Raging Howl / Rejuvenate because Rejuvenate can improve your longevity, and Falkyrie can switch in on a lot of things. That will be explained in the switch-in section of the video. And Raging Howl is just to hit Meditoad and Malmurk. Malmurk isn't that prominent in the metagame right now because of its garbage typing for the metagame. And Meditoad, even though it is prominent, you do not want to take a hit from Meditoad, at least with this set anyways. So let's get on with the next set. In this set, we're going to be running Smart, Robust, Very Frail. I do not advise you for using this set because yes, well, if you're looking for consistency and wall breaking, then this set is for you. Although most people would rather run Speed on Falkyrie because they can get stuff like Velocitrops, Obsidian can get the jump on you right if you do run this set, so just be wary if you want to run Smart, Robust, Very Frail. You're going to be running 200 HP, 36 energy, 64 melee defense, and 200 range attack. Again, 200 range attack is just to maximize your damage, 200 HP is to maximize your bulk, 36 energy is for 4 Metal Blasts and a Magnify thing, and you can fit a Rejuvenate in there somewhere, I just forgot. And 64 melee defense is just leftovers. What you can do with this set though, you can live hits from very brawny Terraclaw if they do Mega Chomp, Sedimars with their Earthquake, Meditoad with their Thunder Slam / Slap Down, unless they're not very brawny. Although most good Meditoad sets are going to be running Brawny Clever, and you are going to be seeing those in competitive play, so Falkyrie can get the jump on these. and you don't need to worry about them outspeeding you, so that's pretty cool because they're slow walls. Anyways, I think this does underspeed a Leguana, so you do have to be wary about that, although a Leguana isn't that hard to deal with. A Leguana gets chipped down very easily because with this set, I think you 4-hit KO with just Metal Blast alone, so that's pretty nice. For the items you want to be running on both sets, I think I forgot to mention on the last set, you can run Typeless Essence, Light Essence, or Metal Essence. Metal Essence lets you hit harder on stuff like a Leguana, Seimars, and Terraclaw, which lets you 2-hit KO them with Ice Cold Traps up, while both Seimars and a Leguana doesn't need Ice Cold Traps to be up for Valkyrie to 2-hit KO them, although you do need Ice Cold Traps up to 2-hit KO Terraclaw. Light Essence is just there for a backup if you don't have anything else, although 100% out of the time you do want to run Metal Essence on your Falkyrie over Light Essence. And the reason why I put Typeless Essence here is for Malmur. If you do plan on running Raging Howl on your Falkyrie, you can run Typeless Essence if you are afraid of Malmur, but since Malmur is weak to Bug, 4 times weak to Toxic, and weak to Dark, most of your common Loomians or teammates that I'm going to be explaining in the next section can destroy Malmur pretty easily, so you don't need to run Raging Howl with Typeless Essence. Alright, warning before we get to the other sets, this does have higher level play warning, so yeah, I guess you're warned. So for this set, you're going to be running Nimble, Robust, Very Frail, 200 HP, 44 energy, 56 melee defense, and 200 speed. You're going to be running the item Mysterious Dust on this, and for the abilities, you can run Awakening or Apply Frustration. And for the moves, you are going to be running Radiant Forecast, Metal Blast, Rejuvenate, and Flash and Flee. 200 HP is to maximize your HP, and paired up 200 HP with 56 melee defense, makes Garbantus play slap or hit KO you. Just for the other set, I showed you the 2 offensive the 2 offensive sets. They do get 3-hit KO'd by Garbantus, so that's pretty nice. You want to be running Mysterious Dust on your Valkyrie for this set, because you can switch in on a lot more now, and most of those stuff can status you with poison, so it's best for you to run Mysterious Dust so you can get rid of them. And 200 speed paired with Nimble is to outspeed Ikuzune again. And although one thing to note here is I did not make this set. I just tweaked this set, and I got this from the Jamie and Automatopoeia video of when Valkyrie just got magnified during the UMD update, or the start of the UMD update. So the credit does not go to me, you guys. Okay, anyways, you're gonna be wanting to run Radiant Forecast, Metal Blast, Rejuvenate, and Flash and Flee. Rejuvenate helps you keep yourself healthy. Flash and Flee makes it so you can take the hits from the Loomians you do wall and go into your offensive Loomians, like Velocitrops, Zulong, Garlash even, Unigon, and Metal Blast is there so you won't get walled out by Eclipse. And you do wall Eclipse, so that's pretty nice. Also, this set is a pivot set. If you don't know what a pivot set is, most pivot sets, well, most defensive pivot sets take the hits from opposing Loomians, then they go into their offensive option. So, stuff like Bulky Illuminami, Naimure, Delic, and then your snack. So those Loomians have either Flash and Flee or Baffle, and yeah, those are the defensive pivot sets. But you might be asking yourself, well, what does Valkyrie have to offer when you have a Luminami with similar typings, better bulk, well, debatably better bulk, and Power Napper? which lets you gain health when you switch. Well, the one thing here that Valkyrie can separate itself with is Radiant Forecast. If you didn't know, Radiant Forecast is a move that lasts for 3 turns. I think the first turn is used when you do set it up, and it releases a blinding light into the air that is base 110 power, which is the hardest hitting light type move in the game that isn't Luxor's Illuminate Raging Howl, and it will land on the opponent after 3 turns. While this might not seem good to you because we do not have any range attack investment other than 8, because I think those are just leftovers. I honestly do not know. Actually no, I don't know why the 8 is there. I don't know why the 8 is there. There we go. What 8? What do you mean? This is 0. Okay, anyways, Radiant Forecast can be used for really good wall breaking. Or, well, yeah, wall breaking. So, what people do is they pair this set of Falkyrie, and they pair it with dark types, or stuff with dark type moves, like Vesperatu, or Garlash, or Hunder, or for example. Mostly melee attackers. You don't need dark type moves, but anyways, that's not the point. The point is, since Radiant Forecast is a ranged attack move, and you're pairing this up with a melee attacker, there's gonna have to be a mixed wall out there that's gonna have to wall both Radiant Forecast and your melee attacker. So, stuff like Obsidian Inventation, for example, let's just say we go Vesperatu. It's very brawny with Slapdown. And the opponent goes into Obsidian after you just switched into Vesperatu. What you can do now is hit the Obsidian very hard. Well, not very hard. It will do some chip. Radiant Forecast will come in, and then Radiant Forecast is either going to knock out the Obsidian, or it's going to leave the Obsidian low enough so sweepers like Protagon and Hunder or Garlash or Garbantis can take care of that Obsidian later on. This can go for Ventation because Ventation has even lower range defense than Obsidian, and it doesn't have reliable recovery outside of soft water. So that's pretty nice. Breaking walls. Yes, this is a section. Okay. The following walls that Valkyrie can break are Krakaloa, Ventation, Stratosaur, Venolin, Naimure, Infernix, and in case Cosmior. There are other walls that Valkyrie can break like Eleguana, Sedimars, Terraclaw, and other stuff like that. We're saving that for another part of the video. The reason why Falkyrie can break through these walls is because, well, Naimure being a pivot, but let's be honest, it is bulky. It doesn't matter. Right, anyways, Krakaloa, like I said, even though it does have the super effective Mud Spatter, defensive sets, well, offensive sets like Smart Nimble and Smart Robust are able to take 2 hits, I think, from Mud Spatter, so that's pretty nice. Ventation being a safe switch-in for Valkyrie 100% of the time, because 1, Ventation is super frail on the range defense side. 2, Valkyrie does resist Battering Ram, so Ventation can't do a lot of damage to it. And 3, Ventation's Geyser doesn't even 3-hit KO Valkyrie, and it's not even that invested in, well, most good Ventation sets anyway. Even if it is invested like 200 range attack plus Geyser, it isn't gonna 2-hit KO Valkyrie, so don't try doing that. Stratosaur is also another stupid wall that Valkyrie can switch in on, because Stratosaur, even though it does have decent range attack, Valkyrie can switch in on, well, decent base range attack. Valkyrie can switch in on Air Blade, Reflection Burst, Metal Blast, because Valkyrie's natural bulk is good, and Stratosaur isn't putting any investment in its range attack as of right now. And yeah, Venolin is also another safe option, because while Venolin, same thing with Stratosaur, has decent range attack, Valkyrie can tank the hit. And before you go saying, "Oh no, Charade Venolin lowers Valkyrie's range defense stat by 2 stages, so it's technically not a check," that's trash. Never use Charade Venolin. Never. Just run your Adaptive Assault, Poison, Rejuvenate, and Mud Spatter slash Barter. Just do that. And Mud Spatter isn't even good on Venolin, because 65 base power on a Loomian that has no range investment isn't good. Anyways, oh yeah, you 2-hit KO all of the walls that I just said. And Imure, you resist Flash and Flee, and Gamma Pulse, and Luster Loot, and you resist Air Blade. So Imure is just set up, you can just set up on Imure. It doesn't matter if it's offensive or not, you just set up. And before you go saying Hypnotize just got nerfed to an oblivion because Jamie did not know how to rechange it. So yeah, Infernix is also another wall that Valkyrie can switch in on because of Shrewd Blast and Infernix's Fire Blast not being invested in on. Although do be wary that Infernix can Peace of Mind when you switch in on it, and it can take 1 hit again now and can threaten to 2-hit KO you. Although if you do run the Smart Robust set, like I just said earlier, you do live 2 hits from Infernix. And in case Cosmeor, you do resist all of its moves. You do resist Meteor Smash, Meteor Crash, Meteor Bash. I don't know. It's Meteor Range Attack. Yes, Meteor Range Attack move. Let's call it that. You resist that by 4 times, and you resist Psycho Blast by 2 times, and your average Cosmeor Enjoyer isn't going to be running range attack investment, so that's a pretty safe switch in. And if Valkyrie gets slow against any of these walls, you can just Rejuvenate, and all their progress is basically gone. Okay? Now for offensive stuff, Valkyrie can switch in on. I think it's called Crack Cosmeor, and then Unleash Cosmeor, and Garbantis, and Gobidemic. While as you go further up the Cosmeor forms, they do increase their damage output. Valkyrie can still wall them, especially with the Smart Robust set. And since Hypnotize got nerfed, you're not gonna be too threatened about that, because you do 2-hit KO these Cosmeors. And for Garbantis, you do, although Play Slap is super effective against you, it does like 1% higher than your resisted battering ram, so that's cool. And while Garbantis can poison you, you can have like a Wonder Herb support like Gobidemic or even Totab for some reason, which can get rid of your status, or have a status sponge like Toxic types or Naimure or Metronet, stuff like that. And the Gobidemic, although Gobidemic does look like it can sweep Valkyrie, Airblade is resisted, Valkyrie is not fat, so Tripu doesn't do a lot of damage, and Muck Blast doesn't do a whole lot. Although I wouldn't advise you switching in on a Muck Blast if you are running the Smart Nimble set. Alright, let's with some other walls that Valkyrie can break. Valkyrie can break Malmerk, Citragon, Poggytoad, no, Meditoad, and Luminami. So the reason why I separated these guys from the rest is because they have something to hit Valkyrie hard with. For Luminami, even though Luminamis are robust, they should be robust, they shouldn't be clever. You 2-hit KO them, and you almost 1-hit KO them. But the problem here is, Luminami does have Mega Chomp, so you can't go switching in on Luminami like it's nothing. Although, if you do find out that Luminami is ranged, this is just setup fodder, so you don't need to be worried about ranged Luminami, but you do need to be worried about melee Nami. You should be worried about Meditoad because although you do 2-hit KO the thing with Raging Howl, Meditoads are running Slapdown 100% of the time, so you are most likely gonna get 1-hit KO'd with Smart Nimble, and it's a roll depending on the set if you are running Smart Robust. Very brawny Meditoad with Slapdown does 1-hit KO you, but Meditoad with Brawny Clever or Very Clever 2-hit KOs your Smart Robust Valkyrie with Slapdown. And Obsidian. While Obsidian does have Primal Slash, so you can switch in on Primal Slash 100% of the time, Obsidian does have Earthquake and can threaten your Smart Nimble Valkyrie, although for Smart Robust Valkyrie, you can tank an Earthquake and you can threaten to 1-hit KO Obsidian no matter what Obsidian it is. And for Maomurk, while you do 2-hit KO Maomurk with Raging Howl, Maomurk can use the Raging Howl's recoil damage to its advantage and 2-hit KO you. Although, one thing to note, that Smart Robust Valkyrie does live through the pain, and Smart Robust Valkyrie can live through the recoil of Raging Howl plus the Mega Chomps from Maomurk if you do decide to run Raging Howl on Falkyrie. So yeah, and other things which are called checks. Technically, these stuff are checks. Yeah, you have stuff like Vesperatu, Garlash, Hunder, Cephalops, and these guys have the dark type moves that I was talking about earlier. Although, one thing to note, you 1-hit KO Vesperatu with Gamma Pulse, you threaten to 2-hit KO Garlash and Hunder, because Hunders are running Tender, very nimble, and clumsy. Although even though their range defense aren't being dropped, you do 2-hit KO them. Where Garlash runs Foolish with very brawny, so you do 2-hit KO. And I'm pretty sure you do 2-hit KO even if they are not running Foolish, and you 2-hit KO Cephalops with Chemicals. Although I wouldn't stay in on Cephalops depending on your set that you want to run, because Cephalops does 1-hit KO you with Soul Drain. And for the others, for your Earth weakness, Tyrex is here to threaten you. Although, do note that Tyrex never wants to switch in on you, and when Tyrex is low enough, you can pick it off, because Tyrex has no reliable recovery outside of Health Amulet, and Health Amulet easily gets slapped down by your slapdown users like Vesperatu. And for your Brawler weakness, you have Mutagun. While you can switch in on the Telekinetic Sweep, you are gonna get 2-hit KO'd by Mega Punch. And for the most reliable checks for Falkyrie in the game are Sedimars and Terraclaw. Although do note that Terraclaw is pretty much worthless because of Venolin now, and Icicle Traps being a thing, which makes Terraclaw even worse because it has no reliable recovery outside of Parasitize and Health Amulet. And for Sedimars, Smart Robust set, like I said, can live Sedimar's Earthquake, although that's pretty much last resort. I would save Valkyrie's bulk for something that Valkyrie can actually switch in on. Alright. Here are some teammate options for Valkyrie. So, stuff that Valkyrie can appreciate is Vesperatu. Vesperatu probably being one of the best teammates for Valkyrie right now, because it resists Dark, so that's out of the picture, and it is immune to Brawler. So yeah, that's 3 of your weaknesses out. And if you do run defensive Vesperatu like Brawny Robust or Nimble Clever or Brawny Clever or whatever, you can help Valkyrie out even more. Another Loomian that can help out Valkyrie is Garbantus. Well, Garbantus isn't as good as Vesperatu. Garbantus can help with the dark types that might want to switch in on you, because the dark types right now, like Vesperatu and Cephalops, depending on their current health situation, Garbantus can one-hit KO them. And another good partner for Valkyrie is Tyrex, because Tyrex is a pretty good check for most melee attackers in the game, and it is one of the best, if not the best, absorber for Thunder Strikes. So stuff like your Protogon or your Zulong won't be threatening Valkyrie if you do switch in with Tyrex. And the last one being Teclipse. Although it's probably not as good as these three, Teclipse can be used for absorbing dark type moves. And that's pretty good, because Teclipse needs a speed boost to sweep, and you can run very smart Teclipse, because that's probably the best set for Teclipse right now, because Valkyrie outclasses it in the damage apartment without the magnify. So Teclipse needs to be very smart, and there's really no point if you're relying on Teclipse getting a total Eclipse boost, because if you are nimble, you are just wasting speed TPs. That's just my opinion. Anyways, let's get on with the other teammates. While these teammates isn't as consistent as the others, these are pretty good teammates. These teammates are Blotox, Cephalops, and Himbra, although you don't need all three on one team, you just need one of them. If you are running the offensive set like Smart Nimble and Smart Robust, you can use Blotox as your status absorber, so stuff like Gobidemic and Garbantus can poison your Valkyrie, and since Blotox is a poison type, or rather a toxic type, it can absorb those poison type moves. Toxic, I don't even know anymore. And Blotox also has Icicle Trap support, so Valkyrie can break through Terraclaw and Citymars a lot more easier than before. Same thing with Cephalops, because Dark and Light, it's pretty much good anywhere, and Cephalops does have Icicle Trap too, and it can put stuff to sleep, so that can be potential setup fodder for Valkyrie. And Himber, while not being as the most consistent out of all these three, is pretty good, because Himber can apply offensive pressure. Of course, you have your cool sweepers to help Valkyrie out. Being one of them is Zulong, Gobidemic, and Protogon. Gobidemic can also be a good partner for Falkyrie, because it can take advantage of Valkyrie breaking the walls that it hates to be set up against, and it can be used as a status absorber for your beams, like Garbantus, for example. If it wants to put poison on Valkyrie, you can just go Gobidemic. I guess Zulong is an alright choice for Valkyrie. It's probably not the best, but it's cool too. And the other sweepers that you can use is Garlash and Hunder. Garlash and Hunder is pretty good for Falkyrie because, again, Dark and Light, and Garlash does help with the ranged walls that Valkyrie can break through, and Valkyrie can threaten the melee walls that Garlash doesn't want to deal with, and same thing with Dargo. The same thing with Thunder. And one thing to note before I'm about to end this video, that Falkyrie goes really well with Your Snack. While it isn't as effective as Your Snack plus Velocitrops, once the Atlantean City update comes out, Baffle will be nerfed to one stage. That will be nerfed to one stage instead of two stages. And Falkyrie, Nimble Falkyrie does outspeed everything in the game when it's paired up with -1 Baffle. So that's pretty nice. And I hope you liked the video, and subscribe, I guess. This is probably one of the worst videos I'm ever gonna make. Zulong is garbage. Never use it. It's a dumpster fire. Stop using it. Stop using it. Stop using it. Stop using it.
Count what you have. Don't count what you don't have.
Mars is now a 2-hit KO. No, Steady Mars was already a 2-hit KO when you magnify. No. Yeah. No. Fuck. I'm gonna cut that out.